Rikki Lambert's joined me. We're going to talk about New South Wales state politics. Massive revelations of that one of their members of Parliament is set to quit New South Wales Parliament. We're talking here of Michael Johnson. And Rikki, the allegations of raping a sex worker, this is really, I guess, it's explosive stuff. I don't think we can put it any other way. But it's going to trigger a by-election in New South Wales.
Yeah, this is Michael Johnson, the MP, not the Olympic sprinter. But
Yes.
this bloke is sprinting out of Parliament as fast as he can. And there is going to be a by-election in this seat. And it is a massive opportunity for another party. One Nation in the approximate federal seat got over 20% at the last election. There was a vote of 40% outside of the major parties for this seat. So there's every chance that another party could pick up this seat. I think if the shooters, fishers and farmers cannot win this seat in this circumstance, they're not a fair dinkum alternative.
And this is something that you've got Helen Dalton down in the seat of Murray. They also have two other seats. Donato is one of their other politicians in Orange. And Roy Butler holds the seat of Barwon in the northwest part of the state. So this is a very important time for Gladys Berejiklian and John Barilaro, the Nationals leader. You see, that would put them now, without this particular politician, Mr Johnson, into a minority government. And if the seat was to be won by, say, you mentioned Pauline Hanson's One Nation, or Labor were even to take this seat, it creates a new conundrum for the governing side of politics.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Labor will not win this seat. Their polling numbers under Jodie McKay are so poor. One Union's walked out of the Labor Party. They're not going to win this seat, even though Joel Fitzgibbon is the local federal member. It's going to be a race between the Nationals, who they've lost the MP who's walked out of Parliament. It's going to be between whoever the Nationals pre-select and someone else. I can't see Labor doing very well in this seat at all. So it's going to be some independent candidate or some minor party candidate that the Nationals are up against. And like I say, there will never be a better chance for one of those minor parties to win this seat.
And of course, the Nationals have held this seat, the Upper Murray seat, for 90 years. This then says that if shooters, fishers and farmers, and with the groundswell of interest that Helen Dalton has on the Murray and on water, this could open up for her to put back into the New South Wales Parliament, given now that they're one seat short, her legislation about the ownership register for water in New South Wales. And again, it's Gladys that is facing a really tough situation here. And I tell you, this is going to be, I think it could have national implications. And even in Victoria, where shooters, fishers and farmers have become a strong advocate for the farming group, for people particularly who don't feel like they're getting any fair treatment from out of the capital cities, suddenly there could be, and as you mentioned before, this is maybe the litmus test for their party as to how far they've come.
Well, it is an opportunity for parties that are outside of the big three, if you like, of Labor, the Liberals and the Nationals, because country people are feeling a bit salty about how they're being left behind by the major parties and city-centric policies. So it's going to be a real test for the Nationals to actually show that they've got strong representation in that area, and for these other minor parties to show that they're up to the task. But this would become a minority government situation where we've got one in South Australia. The Morrison government is one seat off of a minority government after they lost Craig Kelly. It's amazing that in the midst of a pandemic and the need for an economic recovery, we've got Parliament on a knife edge and potentially toppling. So if, say, the shooters, fishers and farmers won that seat, and they can't reach a negotiating position with the coalition under Gladys Berejiklian to get what they want, that could play Jodie McKay into the opportunity to become Premier without a general election.
And that is a major situation that is evolving. And I suppose if you go back to your point about the coalition or conservative-orientated parties, the Liberals in South Australia, the coalition in the federal and also in New South Wales, all being under pressure at the moment. The three states where we have the big states in Queensland, Western Australia and Victoria, we have landslide positions for Labor in those states. A very interesting time. We'll have a look at it more with you, Rikki, as the days unfold on this by-election in New South Wales and the Upper Hunter, but I think it has national implications.